Okay, I think we can start. Hello again, and welcome to our webinar on how to get started on RPA technology. We are very excited that you could join us all today, and we hope that we will leave you all with a deeper understanding of what RPA is and how it can benefit your business. Before we begin, please note that on the left-hand side of your screen, there's a Q&A section. So please feel free to write any questions or comments during the webinar, and we will try to answer them as promptly as possible. We will also provide you with our contact information in the same section, so you can send us your comments and questions again after the webinar and reach us anytime from our emails. So let us begin by introducing ourselves. I'm here today with my partner Elif Aycan at Datazoom Analytics and Consultancy, and also Murat Dayanıklı, founding partner of Robusta, our RPA solution provider at Datazoom. Elif, let's start with you. Can you please tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Thank you, Roxanne. Hi, everybody. I am Elif Aycan. I am the founder and one of the consultants of Datazoom Analytics and Consultancy. I have experience in data analytics and process automation for more than 15 years now. And during this period, I led many projects and many teams in various companies as a manager before starting Datazoom, and now as a consultant in Datazoom. And I want to say a few words about Datazoom's history. Roxanne and I were working together in the same company before starting Datazoom, and we both had experience in creating data-driven culture and process automation. And we were fascinated by seeing how this made a great improvement in business lives. We were dreaming about sharing our experiences with more companies and helping them to create a data-driven culture and fully automated processes. So we started Datazoom. And we were aware that one of the biggest problems was selecting the right products, and we were quite experienced in that as well. We reviewed and tried many tools, and we knew which ones are the best, which ones are affordable, and which companies give the best service to their clients. And we thought we should have the owner of these products as our solution partners so that we can give better and faster services to our clients. Robusta is one of these. And we used Robusta in our previous company where we worked as managers, and we really liked it. And now they are our solution partner. And they are here with us. So Roxanne, do you want to introduce yourself and add a few more words maybe?
Sure, thank you, Elif. So hello again, I'm Roxanne Kaspi. And like Elif, I have led several strategy and analytics projects as well as teams in various companies, mainly in the financial industry, for nearly 15 years now, before joining Datazoom in December 2019. And now at Datazoom, we help companies create their end-to-end analytics strategy, from gathering the right data, building a robust reporting and analysis infrastructure, using this data to formulate smart strategies with advanced analytic tools like machine learning and artificial intelligence, and then, of course, automating these strategies in order to build a smart data-driven business model. And today, in this webinar, we would like to focus on this last part of the analytics process, basically using RPA technology to automate your business processes to have a more sustainable and smart business model, which is why we have as our guest Murat Dayanıklı, founding partner of Robusta. So Murat, would you like to introduce yourself and tell a bit more about your company? And then we can move on to our questions about RPA.
Sure. Thank you very much, Roxanne and Elif, organizing this meeting. And I also would like to thank all the attendees listening us. So let me introduce myself. I'm in the IT industry more than 26 years now. And I work in the business applications, enterprise business applications area like ERP, CRM, and integrations. And in the different roles, applications starting from application developer role, and then later business analyst, IT consultant, business consultant, release manager, project manager, and team manager, etc. Then over the years, I observed always IT and business alignment is an issue in the complex IT environments. Though we deliver many projects, still a lot of manual processes left out of the systems. And in the recent years, the RPA technologies are emerged to address these processes which left out of the systems to automate. So when we see this trend is going in this way, we also started to build our product, utilizing our experience, deep, extensive experience from the past, and looking holistically and thinking how we can align business and IT together and deliver easy-to-use product. So the Robusta is now in Turkey. We are operating in Turkey basically, and we are the market leader in Turkey, and having now 20 customers, big enterprise customers, and our product is actually automating thousands of processes now, and we have a lot of happy customers. So we want to actually deepen in the digital worker industry and build more cutting-edge build more cutting-edge products. And also we are providing the digital workforce consultancy to our customers to build their blueprints or set their strategies, because the digital workers are coming, and the companies now need to transform their needs based on these trends. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So let's start with the most basic question. It's become a big buzzword and all the companies want to use RPA. But can you tell us in simple words, what exactly is robotic process automation?
Actually, as name suggests, robotic process automation is a kind of process automation based on software, robots, or artificial intelligence, or digital workers. Actually, what is digital workers? The technology behind the digital worker is interacting with the IT applications as human beings interacting. This means, normally the traditional IT projects are trying to solve the IT problems from the backend. So this means that you deliver the code, and the code addressing the business problems. But with the robotic process automation is differently approaching to solve these business problems. Like, a lot of processes we say left out of the system, and companies are hiring a lot of people to support their operations, IT operations, business operations. For example, for purchasing department, a lot of people are working and entering data into the systems. So the people are actually doing rule-based mundane tasks. So they are receiving, for example, invoice from customer and entering into the systems. So RPA technologies are kind of mimicking the human being, what they are doing in front of IT applications without touching to the system. Without making any intrusive change into the IT systems, directly interacting to the IT applications from the user interface as human being is doing. And in this way, you can quickly roll out any process automation.
And where do the companies use this? Can you give us some examples?
Actually, there is no limit. Any human being is executing any rule-based task can be automated with RPA technologies. For example, when it is a classical process for each company, when employees onboarded HR or IT, staff executing certain steps to onboard employees. For example, when employee is onboarded, you prepare employee contract, you create a job offer, you enter the data into the HR system, you give instruction to the security guard for the employee to get a security card to access the building or order laptop or other utilities, or for IT operations, they create email account, exchange account, database account, applications account. All these are, rule-based processes, and all these can be done by the software robots, RPA robots, or any other processes in the HR kind of payroll activities, or any purchase order, sales order, or invoice, entering into the data entry section, extracting data from one system and entering to the other system can be candidate for the RPA processes. So not only these simple processes, but for example, month-end closure is a problem in a lot of enterprises. You need to consolidate the ledgers and reconcile the ledgers, and it is always issue for the finance departments. All these can be automated with the RPA. As a human being doing, you can get the data out of the system, consign in the Excel, and load back into the system again, or solve any transaction stuck in the system. Or I can give maybe some customer examples. We implemented in the bank system, for example, the IT ticket management resolution. We implemented in the huge bank system, bank in Turkey. In any company, the employees or customers are raising tickets in the IT ticket management system. Then someone is dispatching these tickets to the different departments, and the different departments operators are handling these tickets. Instead of putting dispatcher, robots can dispatch all these tasks to the correct department, and even further resolve it, because with the AI capabilities embedded into the RPA, we can classify and understand the context of the ticket and decide which department should solve this ticket. Then later, let's say if we understand the user wants to reset his password, then even we can trigger on another RPA process and reset the user's password. Or even more complex business processes, for example, for the debt collection, agents are calling the debtor to persuade to pay the debt. When they persuade the debt, then they are logging the ticket at the backend system for the back office, and the back office to handle the further collection process. So we can easily, the RPA can easily create the ticket on behalf of call center agent, and even RPA can resolve this ticket. And let's say the debtor sent their ID card from their, WhatsApp, and we can get this document from WhatsApp and download it, and with the utilizing the OCR technology, we recognize the customer and authenticate using the ID number, and attach the document into the ERP system, and trigger the debt resolution process. And we wait for the customer to pay. We can send even the contract to sign customer. When a customer signs the contract, we receive again from email or WhatsApp channels. A robot can receive this contract and again attach and enter the data from the contract, and all the pre-processing finished, then we can continue to follow up if the debtor really paid the, how to say, the bank, the debt. After the bank file is processed into the ERP systems, we reconcile the payment data into the this debtor records, and if the payment is fulfilled, then we can send a document to the debtor showing that the debt was cleared. So this kind of many processes repeated, manually repeated, can be addressed by the RPAs.
And in the second example that you gave, this is all triggered without human intervention, right? So Robusta is integrating with WhatsApp, and whenever an ID file is received, then the process starts by itself and completes by itself without any human touching the system or the interface.
Yes, yeah, that's right. It is a zero. Actually, yeah, you are correct. One of the major benefits of RPA is to create zero-touch processes. Especially in these pandemic days, the people are looking for zero-touch processes, and RPA actually addressing these no-touch processes very well.
Great. This all sounds really exciting. Can you also tell us about the benefits of this technology? So why should companies use it? What are the benefits to them?
Actually, for me, the major benefit is, at the end of the day, we are very busy with a lot of these non-value-added tasks. This, we say this transactional task. Then we don't have any time to think and contribute to the strategy of the company. When we hand over these mundane tasks to the software robots, RPAs, then the employees can have more time to focus on the value-added task. I think this is the major benefit of the why the companies should use it. Also, another thing, if your competitor is using this type of technologies and gained, let's say, cost reduction in the same processes, then you cannot compete with them anymore. So I think this technology is adopted by a lot of companies every day. So it is widely spread. Let's say when we go back to the 2015, RPA was very new and the usage was very limited. Now, within let's say 5 years, it is completely changed now. A lot of companies are adopting this technology. So, of course, they are working. The software robots are working 24 hours, 7 days. And in all enterprises, the volume of transactions are increasing every day, and this means that the processes are now error-prone. So the cost of these errors are too much and also impacting the customer satisfaction. So using these technologies, you also improve the customer satisfaction. And of course, they are working, let's say, 5 to 10 times faster than employees. Anyway, the coverage is 7 days, 24 hours, and also doing the same process faster than human beings. So actually, let's say also the initial investment for these technologies are also not high comparing to the FD. The advantage, the cost of using these technologies are cheaper. So a lot of companies are adopting this type of technologies.
Okay, we just received a question.
Sorry?
We just received a question. If it's okay with you, I will ask you. They're asking, how long does a robot automation project take?
Actually, again, when we compare the RPA, let's say, projects to the traditional IT projects, let's say IT projects are taking months or years, but the RPA technologies are taking, we are talking about days or weeks, maximum weeks, because we don't make any really IT changes here. So also, you don't need to, the idea here is to enable everyone in the organization can program their processes, to automate their processes. It is so simple to use it, and utilizing all this easy to use products, you can, in a short time, you can deliver and see the results. In the long IT projects, it takes months, and at the end, what delivered may not satisfy the business users. So, what with the RPA, you can see the result immediately. So we are talking, let's say, one day, it depends on the, of course, process, but even sometime we are talking about hours.
Great, thank you. Okay, so let's say I'm convinced and I want to start using RPA technology for my business. Where should I start?
Actually, yeah, that's a good question. First thing, you need to. I'm sure in all companies they have processes suitable for RPA technologies. Process discovery is one of the aspect of the decision. You can, but this is kind of creating kind of backlog. Which processes are compatible with RPA? Actually, when we talk to the customers, they are saying they don't want any processes not compatible with RPA. They say all the processes should be compatible with RPA. So let's say you start with the process discovery, and you identified certain processes. We can prioritize these processes with minimum effort. We can try to show maximum value, then conduct POC to show to the organization that it is really working for that organization. And then after successful POC, of course, you need to identify the RPA vendor. When you choose the correct tool, then you need to really find the correct solution partner like you, adding value to the customer, analyzing their processes, streamlining the processes, and architecting how to solve with RPA. This solution partner is also one of important step. Then, after, let's say, you identified your solution partner, and also we are advising customers to start small. When you start small, the people really see the benefit, and you get buy-in in the employees and the management. Because sponsorship from the management is important in all any area, in any project in the organization. Also, it is also same for RPA. So that's the reason starting small is very critical. You show the results and benefit immediately to the customers, then everyone is happy. And then later, because sometimes in the organizations, employees are maybe not willing to contribute because they say it is maybe kind of competitive for them. But when they see it is not really taking their job, but it is helping to them. Then they are starting contributing, and they are telling we can automate this process, and every day they are coming with different ideas, and the usage in the organization expanding every day.
Mhm.
Also, another point I can advise, depending on the companies, sometimes the companies can decide to outsource this RPA services totally as a managed service to solution partner, or they can build in-house. Both options are valid, and both are working well in our experience. So, because the learning curve is very short, they can even decide totally build all the RPA processes by themselves, or they can totally outsource to solution partner or a combination.
Okay, so to summarize, basically prioritize the right process, pick the right tool, start small, and then determine your strategy whether you want to outsource or start building an in-house capability is how you would get started. Is that correct?
That's yeah.
Okay, thank you. And in our consultancy business, a lot of our customers have raised concerns over starting to use RPA technology. They believe that a company needs to reach a certain size to benefit from an RPA investment. And it is also widely believed that you need to set up and maintain a proper RPA team with deep technical know-how and coding knowledge, which are kind of the hidden costs of investing in RPA technology. How would you respond to these concerns? Are they correct?
Actually, not because RPA is actually introduced to overcome all these concerns that you addressed. First of all, the total cost of ownership is very low, as tried to explain earlier. Also, the RPA is abstracting the IT complexity and giving a tool, a platform to anyone to automate their processes. Actually, even Robusta, as a Robusta, we are thinking to make our tool so easy where the consumer even can use it. At the moment, RPA tools are targeting only to B2B market, but in our opinion, soon it will become B2C. So anyone can utilize this technology and automate their processes. In our daily life also, we have a lot of things. For example, we get a lot of emails, and we should immediately react to the emails. We can use these bots to solve even this email responding, etc. So, every day, these tools will become easy and will spread all over the world for different reasons. Also, embedded technologies are, there are a lot of embedded technologies in the RPAs every day. For example, it started with embedding OCR, BPM, some cognitive capabilities, for example, image recognition, image classification, text classification, image count, etc. All these very easy, and you can kind of building block, and you can build your process easily. So all this cognitive, using this cognitive technology became so easy. That's the reason it will go to every market. Also, one thing I should address: there are too many models you can choose. Cloud model, based on your budget, you can choose a cloud model, shared RPA service, on-prem or cloud options, transaction-based, kind of. If the enterprise wants to use it, there are too many options to adopt these technologies based on their budget needs and requirements.
We have another great question from the attendees. They're asking, as indicated, the business can configure the application. How does a typical RPA implementation team look like, and what skills would be required?
Actually, in some other tools there are RPA developer roles, but in our tool, we don't need the RPA developer tool. Actually, we say RPA consultant, because Robusta is kind of a no-code tool. You don't need to code any IT coding, let's say. So in our business consultants not coming from technical background, and in the organization we have only RPA consultant working directly with the customer, end user or key user, and analyzing their needs and identifying the flow, business flow, and directly implementing with the key user, and they see the results immediately. So as a short, there is no team actually. Only, let's say, one consultant is directly working with the key users and addressing their processes and immediately automating together.
Okay, thank you. Maybe at this point we can move on to the demo, so that our attendees can get a better understanding of what it means to have a no-code, user-friendly RPA tool and how they can use it.
Let me share my screen with you. Can you see now?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So we implemented this scenario on the Oracle ERP system, and there are certain. Just let me describe the scenario we automated. We have orders to be entered into the Oracle ERP systems coming from the Excel sheets. These Excel sheets can be sent via email or put into certain directory. So even when comes from the email, we can download into certain directory and process the file from the certain directory. So we say if the ordered amount is bigger than $5,000, we want to inform the sales admin. And also another rule we want to apply in this case is, if the ordered item is serialized control, we want to split the order line so that we can enter the serial numbers for each serialized items. So utilizing the Oracle, because Robusta RPA is BPM centric, so BPM based architecture allows us to segregate business rules from the business flow. This is a very big advantage because when the business rules changes, you don't need to change your process. Only fine-tune your business rules or add new rules. So this is the rules that I explained you here will be configured in the business rule engine. Let me move on to show you. This is the rule engine that I mentioned you. It's a kind of table. You can add as many as rules you have, or any rule change you can change here. For example, as I mentioned you, if the ordered amount is more than 5,000, send email. Otherwise, don't send email. Or if the item is serialized control, then split the order line. Otherwise, don't split. You can think all the business rules you need to apply, and you can configure in the rule engine in a kind of Excel table. Then the bots understand your rules and process from there. Yeah, the file will be here. As mentioned, you can see the details of the file. And this is the order header line, also for the order line. So we have one flag showing that if the item is serialized, controlled or not. This is the detail of the rule engine. So in the our design studio, as the decision table is kind of rule engine. So here we told at the beginning the RPAs are interacting with the applications from the graphical user interface. So in the graphical user interface of application, there are components. So utilizing our inspector tool, we can find each component's address. When it comes to, for example, username, I want to find the user address of the username. So when I want to set the username, I want to send a message to the username field. When I want to set the password, I want to send the message to the password field. So utilizing this tool, we automatically find the location. Also, you set any text from from when you press the set text, automatically we send the message to the application. Or when you press the click, it press the button. So identifying in this way, just let me stop here to tell one more thing. We find the address or XPath of the each component. We calculate based on the certain, let's say, logic. So that in the applications, if any changes happens in the future release, let's say username, there were username and password field here, and if any more field is added, if you don't give the correct XPath naming convention, then maybe next time you cannot find this username field anymore. That's the reason it should be given correctly. So that's the reason our inspector tool calculates applying certain logics, so that in the when the user interface changes, we don't get impacted from this change. So it is very important. So building a bot is one thing. Maintaining this this process is another thing. So when we build any process with Robusta, maintenance cost is really low, because we are not getting impacted from any changes on the UI. So let me move on. This is the features. Then now I want to train the bot to follow this process. So I just create a process. Here you can see our design studio till the applications. Maybe if you are familiar with the BPM, you know these components. These are the BPM components over here. After the applications starts our bot services. For example, the applications is to services interacting with any type of applications, Oracle, SAP, web, or desktop, or Java. It doesn't matter. You interact with any type of application using our application tab. Here, for example, if you want to send any key message or keyboard message or mouse message, we use these services. Excel, we process any Excel file or any Word file, Microsoft Office PDF files, text files in the JSON format or XML format, any text format, PDF files or scanned or normal built-in PDF files. We utilize the dataset concept, so you don't need to process the Excel files in memory, so you don't need really Microsoft Office installed in the bot, in the machine that you install the bot. You don't need any Office configuration. We are building the Excel files in memory so fast because we take the data into the data set and make all the Excel calculations or applying formula, creating sheets in the data set and writing back to Excel files. So compared to other tools, it is so fast. So RPA doesn't only interact with the application from the user interface, but also we can interact from the backend. This means if any application have any open API or web service, we can execute these APIs or web services from within the RPA process without writing any code, using the wizards. So let me move on. It was a very short introduction about the tool. So here we design any process kind of Visio. So each step in front of application, what you are doing, you are just actually writing here. In this case, I will go to the Oracle. I will open the Oracle applications. I will enter the URL of the application, and when I execute this step, it will open the Oracle application. Then I move to, after I open the Oracle applications, I need to enter username and the password, the next step. So the tool I showed you finds the location of the field that I want to interact and automatically puts here. Then, after setting the username, the next step is to set the password. Then, of course, after setting password, we need to give a click to login button. Then we are in the application. Then we need to choose the correct menu. Then apply the logic that I mentioned to you, and then finish the project. So after finishing your process design, let's say this process is defined in a half day, then it can repeat this process every day. After you one time created this, it repeats every day for you. So actually, as you see, the process is created in the, let's say, it looks like Visio. Even you can take a lot of note or documentation. We have also documentation field. You can explain what you are doing in each step. So you can export this process as a Word or PDF document. So this also gives you documentation capability. Whenever the people ask you about what is your order entry process, you can take export and show them. This is also another great example of it. So now I want to run the process. And actually, normally the human being is doing, and now a bot is doing. It opened the application, set the username and password, and logged in, and will go to the menu, order management menu, sales order, and go to the sales order form, and go to order header form, and take the data from the Excel sheet, and enter the data from the Excel sheet into the field, corresponding field. And the now after finishing the order line, it goes to lines. Because the first line was serialized control, it's split into two lines, entered in 2 times with the quantity of 1, and it finished the first order, and it moves to second record. So it will continue until all the records in the Excel files are finished. And at the end of this process, you can, so we say if the order quantity was more than 5,000, send the email to the sales rep. The order is booked, and now we go to the email because there were one order containing more than 5,000. So we sent the email. Any actions in your process can be defined here and executed. So you can monitor what was executed, kind of workflow, which steps are executed. In green, you see all these steps are executed, and the process finished here. All the variables in the process you can track. If any issue occurred, you can debug also from that angle. Okay, I've finished. Hello?
Okay, thank you. I think the demo makes it much clearer of what RPA can manage for any type of business. So at this point, I would like to turn to the attendees. Are there any more questions? Because this is the end of our webinar, but we'd be happy to answer if there are any remaining questions. Okay, I think we have no more questions, but like I mentioned at the beginning of our webinar, we left our contact details, so please feel free to email us at any time with your inquiries. And, oh, sorry, we just received a question. Okay, it's the contact details again. So you can see our contact details and email us at any time you wish. Thank you again for joining us at our webinar, and hope it was helpful in explaining what RPA is and what it can do. Thank you.
Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you very much for organizing this event.